keeping up with DeFi, wow, it moves so fast, doesn't it? It can feel pretty overwhelming sometimes.
Totally. New things popping up constantly. It's a challenge to know what's actually important.
Exactly. And you, our listener, the learner, you want to stay ahead, get what's significant, but without getting, buried in all the noise.
Yeah, cutting through that clutter is key.
Well, that's what we're doing today. We're taking a real deep dive, focusing specifically on the Harmony ecosystem. We've got their April 2025 newsletter here.
Right, using that as our guide to see what they've been up to.
We're going to unpack the important bits, figure out why they matter. And April, well, it looks like it touched on three main things.
Okay, what are you looking at?
First, stablecoin yield strategies, lots of research there. Then this subgraph technology for finding on-chain profit opportunities.
Ah, the data side. Interesting.
And finally, the really crucial stuff, protocol upgrades. Things to make the network itself more stable and, well, better.
The foundational work. Always important.
So our mission today, pull out the key insights, give you some clarity, maybe even a few aha moments about where DeFi is heading, at least within Harmony.
Sounds good. Let's get into it. Where do we start? Stablecoins.
Yeah, let's start there. Stablecoin yields. The newsletter makes it sound like this was a big focus for the team all through April.
It looks like it. Consistent effort digging into different ways to earn returns on stables.
Right away, first week of April, they're talking VFAT vaults, stablecoin pairs, even modeling impermanent loss. That sounds pretty technical.
It is, yeah. But it's vital stuff. You need to understand those mechanics, the risks involved. Aaron, Artem, Yuri were on this. They're likely trying to find that balance, Good yield, but manageable risk.
Makes sense. And Aaron, it seems, did a broader look, too, that week. DAX yields, security stuff. They even mentioned PenPy after that exploit.
Oh, that's significant. Learning from incidents like PenPy is crucial for designing safer products. Smart move.
Yeah, and Bitcoin yield integration, funding rate strategies, quite a wide net they cast.
It shows they're looking broadly, connecting dots between different parts of crypto. That kind of research really feeds into building better, more resilient yield products later on.
So they're kind of battle testing ideas to find what works best and what's safest for people holding stablecoins?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, then week 2 rolls around and Aaron's testing advanced hedged stablecoin strategies. What's hedged mean here, basically?
Well, think of it like trying to protect your downside. Hedged strategies often use other positions, maybe derivatives or something, to offset potential losses in your main stablecoin strategy. It's about finding more stable returns, potentially with less risk, more sophisticated stuff.
Gotcha. Balancing act. And the research kept going into week 3. Aaron, Artem, Rikako, Theo working on APR tracking across Pendle, Spectra, Euler. Why track APRs everywhere? Isn't it just a number?
If only it were that simple. No, tracking APR accurately across platforms is super important for you, the user. It lets you compare apples to apples, figure out where the real returns are after all the complexities. It's about transparency.
Right, giving people the actual data to make good decisions. Okay. And the final week of April. Looks like Aaron and Artem were digging into newer stablecoins, ReUSD, FX, ALUSD, and more hedging, like synthetic puts, and risk analysis on Beefy and Euler.
Yeah, constant evaluation. The stablecoin world changes fast. New coins, new tools pop up. They need to stay on top of it, understand the risks and rewards. Synthetic puts, for instance, that points towards exploring more advanced ways to manage risk.
Always looking ahead. Okay, let's switch lanes. On-chain profits and subgraph technology. This sounds a bit techy, but Frank was doing some key work here. What are subgraphs in simple terms?
Okay, imagine the blockchain is just this massive, messy library. Finding one specific book or piece of data is really hard and slow.
Right.
Subgraphs are like super efficient librarians, or maybe really well-organized index cards for that library. They index the blockchain data so applications and users can find specific information like rewards or trades much, much faster.
Ah, okay, like a specialized search engine for the blockchain. And Frank fixed some indexing issues and deployed a Pendle rewards subgraph in week 1. Why is that a big deal?
Well, if your index cards are wrong, you can't find the right book, right? Fixing indexing issues means the data the subgraph provides is actually accurate. Deploying the reward subgraph means now there's a reliable way to track exactly what rewards people are earning on Pendle. Better data, better analytics, more transparency on earnings. Foundational.
Makes the data usable, reliable. Got it. Then week 2, Frank apparently expanded that Pendle subgraph, tracking yields from PT, LP, underlying assets, boost factors. More event handlers. Sounds like building a dashboard.
Exactly. He's breaking down where the yield comes from the principal token, the liquidity position, the base asset. That gives a much clearer picture. Boost factors show the impact of, well, yield boosters. More event handlers just means it tracks more types of actions on Pendle. It's all building towards a really comprehensive view of Pendle yields.
That level of detail would be super useful if you're active on Pendle. Then, week 3, refining Pendle Leave reward tracking. Is that about making sure data from different protocols plays nicely together?
Precisely. DeFi is all interconnected. Being able to track activity accurately when you're using Pendle and A together gives you that complete picture of what your funds are doing.
Makes sense. And the last week, Frank looked at Equilibria's SY rewards, clarifying APR differences from streaming mechanisms. So, helping users understand how rewards are actually paid out.
Exactly. Different protocols pay out rewards differently, sometimes over time,
Uh,
that can make APR figures look different even if the underlying rate is similar. Frank's work here helps clear up that confusion. And that note about updating Harmony One Bot's AI with OpenAI models,
yeah.
that's hinting at the future, right?
Mm.
Using AI to analyze all this rich subgraph data, that could lead to some really powerful tools for finding opportunities or managing positions on chain. Very interesting.
Okay, now for the part that might not sound as flashy, but is maybe the most important, protocol upgrades and infrastructure. The plumbing.
Absolutely critical. You can't build cool DeFi apps on a shaky foundation. This is the bedrock.
So, week 1, Geis refactoring sync logic for reliability, Konstantin working on Ethereum 1.10 upgrades on the DevNet, Sun and ULAD doing server updates, CI fixes. Sounds like essential backend work.
That's exactly what it is. Keeping the engine running smoothly. Geis working on sync logic. That's about making sure all the computers running Harmony agree on the state of the network reliably. Konstantin keeping up with Ethereum upgrades is important for compatibility, interoperability down the line.
Then week 2, Geis actually pushed those sync upgrades, and ULAD improved validator diagnostics. What does that mean for the network user?
Pushing the upgrades means those reliability improvements are now active on the test network, the DevNet. Better performance, more stable. Improved diagnostics help the people securing the network, the validators, spot problems faster. All contributes to a healthier, more secure Harmony.
Good stuff. Week 3 looks like a big one for infrastructure. Geist deployed StreamSync across all DevNet nodes. Major stability improvement, it says. What is StreamSync?
Think of it as a much faster, more robust way for nodes, the computers on the network, to get up to date. Whether they're joining for the first time or just catching up, deploying it on DevNet is a huge step. Makes the whole process way more reliable, strengthens the network, and gets it ready for mainnet updates. Big deal.
Okay, more reliable feuding. And Constantine fixed a critical consensus bug during view changes. And streamlined block syncing. Sounds fundamental.
Oh, absolutely fundamental. A consensus bug, especially during a view change, that's when the network picks new leader could cause instability, disagreements about transactions. Fixing that makes the whole leader election process smoother, safer, and streamlining block syncing just makes the network faster and more efficient at sharing information.
And Sun making progress on typed transaction persistence. What's that unlocking for the future?
So typed transactions are kind of like newer, more flexible envelopes for sending transactions. They can hold more info, enable more complex features, help with compatibility with newer Ethereum standards. Persistence means Harmony is getting better at actually handling and storing these advanced transaction types reliably. It sets the stage for future upgrades.
Okay, so lots happening under the hood. The newsletter also gives a quick nod to community stuff. Jeet Bets, AthleteFi, Flappy H1, CryptoLand DAO. Seems like the ecosystem's buzzing.
Yeah, it's always good to see that grassroots activity, airdrops, GameFi launches, it shows people are actively building and using things on Harmony. That's a sign of a healthy, engaged community.
And other bits like Recovery Round 31, a USDC burn by that DAO, a new fee model for Clanker, just signs of life and ongoing operations.
Exactly. Recovery rounds help users. The burn shows on-chain financial activity. Fee model changes affect dApp usage. It's the ecosystem evolving day to day.
So pulling it all together, April looks like it was, well, seriously productive for Harmony. Big moves on the foundations and on the application layer stuff too.
Definitely. From digging deep into stablecoin yield risks and rewards, to sharpening the tools for on-chain analytics with subgraphs, to really hardening the core network infrastructure, it all points towards building a more powerful and usable DeFi ecosystem.
And for you, the learner, listening in, what does this all mean? Well, potentially it means better, maybe safer ways to earn on stables down the road. It means better tools, better data coming your way to help you navigate DeFi on Harmony.
Right. And crucially, those protocol upgrades mean a more stable, more reliable platform for everything else you might do in the ecosystem. It's building confidence.
It really is about making DeFi more solid, more user-friendly. And the newsletter mentions they're continuing research into new yield products, aiming to expand the on-chain wealth network into May. So the push continues.
Seems like they're not slowing down.
So maybe the question to leave you with is this. Seeing all these improvements, from the core tech to the yield strategies, how might that shape how you think about using DeFi going forward? Is there one area, yield, data, network stability, that really catches your eye as something to watch or maybe even explore more yourself?
Yeah, how do these pieces fit together to create new possibilities for you? That's the interesting thought to mull over.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Harmony's April.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. It was a good look under the hood.
We really hope breaking this down gave you some solid insights, whether it's the stablecoin details, the subgraph potential, or those crucial infrastructure upgrades. Hopefully it gives you a clearer picture and a good foundation for keeping up with this space.
Absolutely. Until next time.